Ladies and gentlemen, this is episode 230 of GI Joburg, and we're going to be talking Christmas, a bit of 2021, and just generally just recapping and, should I say, capping off the year before we get ourselves ready for the next one. And as usual, I'm joined by...
Rob in Cape Town. He's counting down to the next year.
And normally Stephen would be here, but he has got, well, he's dealing with some stomach issues that are preventing him from making this episode. So we're just going to have to talk more about He-Man, and it's going to be
Hell
great.
yeah.
I'm kidding. We're not going to chat about He-Man, although Prince Adam and the gang may actually make a small appearance in this episode. What else is worth mentioning? Ooh, yeah, and then of course I'm here. Yay. Cool.
Paul
So
is
let's
with
get...
Paul and Rob. Both of us are right here, and we're ready to talk about Christmas and the absolute amazing year we had. Paul,
Yes.
what's new for you?
What's new for me? Dude, lots of cool stuff. Lots of cool thingies. This has been a great Christmas. It was my first Christmas in this in the new place in Base Camp Bravo with Cecilia. And we had the fortune of having quite a decent one, which is cool. And yeah, it was fun, and some good new things came our way, which is great. And for you, Robbie, you got anything that you're gonna talk about as well? Just before, like, you know, I'd hate to be like, oh well, and I received this, and then I bought that, and then Rob, what did you get?
So I got a couple of things for Christmas, but probably the thing that was most exciting was I actually got an action figure for Christmas, guys. It's amazing.
Nice.
Someone was kind enough. I think it was Paul and Stephen. They sent me a figure that I've wanted for a while. I've always enjoyed playing with him when Stephen's had him, and I think my version is much better than his. I think he's playable, and he's weathered the years much better, I think, as well. So the figure I'm talking about is Countdown.
Meow, meow, meow,
He
meow.
came in an incredibly well packaged box. As I was unpackaging him, my mother and my sister kept asking, "Okay, so is there anything in there at all? Actually, and I was like, yeah, it's just gonna be a figure. It's fine." And I kept unpacking and unpacking. And eventually my mom was like, oh, they probably, they gave you an IOU probably. There's nothing in there.
Shame, man.
So he's so cool. And the coolest thing about him as well is that the feature on his backpack that allows him to kind of like go along a string actually is intact. Stephen's one does not have this feature.
Yeah, mine neither. So
what?
Well, neither
Mine
does
is the only one that works.
Yeah. So I've got all of the gear, except I'm missing the grappling hooks. But yeah. So yours is like, you've got the most complete Countdown out of the three of us, it seems.
Heck yeah.
In fact, I think you've even got the file card. If memory
Yes,
serves.
I do actually, and it's actually very well cut out as well. Whoever cut this out originally did a really good job.
Lacquer, dude.
And
That's really,
even though
really cool.
his file name is David Duboski, growing up, because of his complexion, he always seemed Indian to me. So I always played him as like an Indian dude, I'm
That's
going
cool.
into
That's pretty
space to get
progressive.
the curry, and we are going to forward the Indian astronaut program, which apparently they have one, as far as I know.
I believe they do.
Actually
Yeah.
do have. So I was way ahead of the curve. I was ready to put India in space
Nice, dude.
decades before they actually did it themselves.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah, I got a new figure. He's so cool.
Yay, it's cool when Robbie gets a new toy. Before I get into my what's new section, whatever's, I just want to, and I think, Rob, I think you're with me on this one. Guys, those of you in the Burg Force, I know I've sent this off as a Patreon message, but just to everybody who's listening to the show and who supports us, guys, thank you. Thank you so much for your overwhelming support. for your great comments, for being with us in these live chats. You know, when you can, you made the show a lot of fun, or you make the show a lot more fun than we thought it could be. Actually, I mean, the show has always been about like us talking, rubbish about toys and GI Joe and getting really excited about it as we do, because these things are important to us and to you, our dear listeners. And just wanted to just say thank you. It's so cool that we've got this, you guys in the live audience, that we've got you guys in the comments. We have this Facebook group. We do the after parties. It's just been really, really cool getting to know you guys over the last year, and more. But this year, I feel like it's been especially great for that. Like we've really come together in a big way, and I just want to say thank you for that. That's meant a lot to me. It means a lot to us at GI Joburg. I'm speaking for the three of us now, but I don't think I'm wrong in what I'm saying. And thank you, you guys. You guys make this super fun and super awesome. And that's not to of course, not forgetting things like the cool little surprises and little Easter eggs and little great things that have come our way as a result of our supporters, our listenership, and all that. Thank you guys. You have made 2021 an almost perpetual Christmas, actually. And
You've
it's
certainly
been,
made it a lot better. And
yeah,
it's been absolutely amazing.
yeah. So thank you for that, and to all of our the guys that have contributed with us on play motions, to all of you who have released play motions, like the Peak family, like Troy. It's cool to see you guys lighting the flame. All of the Sunbob creations. Well, Outback, with Outback Stew. But just generally seeing everything that's been going on. Cody's been rocking it. Slaughter's Marauders have been rocking it. Or, like, it's just been mad. It's just, and I'm sorry if I'm getting names wrong and all kinds of stuff. But I'm talking about you. And
he's too emotional, guys. He's too emotional.
Too emotional. But yeah, and guys, also, this may come as a surprise. I am super nervous whenever I message anybody. I always get a bit like, oh, I hope I'm not bugging these dudes, or I hope I'm not upsetting people, or I often will leave, not often, but every now and then I'll work up the courage and leave a response to something that Larry Harmer has posted, or I'll post on like essentially a stranger's wall when it comes to like GI Joe news and whatever's. And guys, we also get messages from yourselves, and you guys sometimes also start off with, I hope we're not bugging you. And guys, you're not bugging us. We love hearing from you. We think you're awesome, and we love your ideas, and we dig your opinions. The thing is, we can't all have the same opinion, and if you don't like something like a toy or a figure or a Sky Striker from HasLab or whatever it is that, and I'm not pointing out anything in particular, but if there's something you don't dig or you're curious about or whatever's, hey, like, it's cool that you're into that. That's the whole point of this, right? Is so that we all, can chat about it and get excited about it and get annoyed about some of the same things and whatever's. And so please, yeah, it's been awesome.
True.
So I just
express your opinions and say what you're passionate about. I think
exactly. So I had a bit of a Christmas miracle, actually.
Hey,
Hey.
always good to
So for starters, this happened as early as last week. Celia and I sort of started getting a bit of a taste for Hot Wheels cars.
hear.
Hot Wheels, the little Hot Wheels.
Yeah, the tiny little cars. I mean, I remember. I think Stephen mentioned Elliot has a taste for them too. He likes just putting them in his mouth.
That kind of, I don't know what it is, but just that day, I sort of, when he posted that image of Elliot with the Hot Wheels Batmobile, I kind of thought, oh, it would be great to get one, because I have this thing where I like to collect all Batmobiles in Hot Wheels form. I've been doing it for years. I just don't collect all the funky colors. And I went to go and have a look, and then, I don't know, it's a combination of that and playing the video game. Anyway, it's something that Celia sort of enjoys doing as well. So we've been like flipping through the Hot Wheels sections of toy stores and department stores and grocery stores for the last week or two, and pulling out a few here and there. So that's been quite fun, and I'm not going to show my haul of Hot Wheels toys, but this does lead us to something quite interesting. So the South African GI Joe groups have been quite busy with guys buying and selling and trading or whatever. It's been that time of the year, and has and a great little GI Joe sort of just miraculously came my way, and I'm going to show you exactly who that is in a second. But first, let me show you how this year has been going with toys. Firstly, we're going to start off with Waspinator from Kingdom. Yeah, I caved. I totally got him. I had made so many responsible purchases this Christmas for the house. I had to buy some cabinets and thingies for the house, like and a blender and all that stuff, that I thought I would award myself with the Waspinator. And dudes, I gotta say, this is a great little toy. If you have not got this Waspinator, get your hands on him. He's very cool. I really do regret not getting him the first time round. Would have saved myself a little bit of money. Could have avoided Trax entirely, and just gone straight for Waspinator. Sorry, Trax. Trax is in the same room as me, and that's a bit of a bummer.
Not for
Anyway.
long. He's gonna make tracks once.
He's going to make tracks. What Waspinator is here. But the thing is, Waspinator. The thing with Waspinator is he has that 90s Beast Wars feel, which I really, really love. Like, great and powered and glowy and just awesome. And he's creepy, man, when he's like in his bug mode. He's proper creepy. Then, by way of a local collecting helper, I managed to get this guy. Many phases. Which has not been available locally. It's just somebody who imported a whole bunch of them, and on the group he was like, "We've got an extra Manny Faces. Is anybody keen?" I'm like, me. So I finally got a Manny Faces for my Burg collection, which is cool. And then the awesome Matthew Comstock sent me this very well wrapped gift, which I actually proceeded to only open on Christmas. Yeah. Yeah, we're talking about bubble wrap, eh, Rob?
Oh, bubble wrap, yes.
Yeah.
Well, thankfully, everyone is very generous with bubble wrap.
It's great because now I've got tons of bubble wrap, for like packing and storing things, which I am very thankful for, actually.
I see in the back of this picture, sorry to interrupt, but you're watching Ghostbusters.
That is correct, Ghostbusters 2.
That's awesome. Well, with Bill Murray. Well, last night I decided to watch, after many years, Scrooged again.
Very cool. Was that your Christmas movie? Nice.
That was my Christmas movie. Well, one of them. But like I hadn't seen it in ages, and it's still an absolute delight. He gets so emotional at the end of that movie. It's actually incredible, and because you're so used to him being kind of
a goofball.
Or like cynical, but like at the end of the movie, you really do feel that he's made a change, and he's kind of like he's into the season now. I mean, he's still kind of feel that he's a bit sarcastic, but he's kind of made a transformation, and it's really a good movie. I highly recommend watching it. Sorry to interrupt and to build
you didn't
suspense,
interrupt at all. No, that's all good. So yeah, so this is, if anybody's wondering, this is a scene of Christmas Eve at the Lopesha residence. And what popped out of there? So eagle-eyed viewers would know exactly who classified figure number 32 is. But if you don't know who it is, it's this man. Fireman Jump. Barbecue. I got it. Wow. The classified line continues to blow my mind. This is an incredible toy line. Yeah, wow. I could not have seen, I could not have expected this toy line to be as cool as it is, the way that it's been going. Barbecue is just really great. He's just such a cool figure. I mean, look at this awesome pose that I just got him in here, and just like quickly out of the box, He's just awesome. He just looks formidable, and he's got kind of a big stature, so so he's not like, I always felt the vintage one just felt a bit thin. And now he's like got this, this grand, like, I'm here to put out fires and chop stuff down. He's very cool. And popping over there, he's got another hero pose of him, all of his gear stowed. It's a very, very cool toy. Thank you again, Matt. This is amazing. Really, really dig it. And then, and then I came by the way of the GI Joburg group, and somebody was like, "I've got a Viper for sale for 200 rand. If anybody wants it." I was like, "Me, me, 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 me." And not pictured, but I also got an Avalanche from that same sale. If you guys are wondering, Avalanche is that GI Joe with the shit stains all over him from Battlefield 2000.
He's still, despite that, he looks really cool. A good
I,
figure.
I'm I'm glad you dig him. He comes with these little nunchucks there on his leg. Very cool. Uh, I finally completed Battle Force 2000, which is a cool feeling. And I've also got a new Viper, but this Viper came with a little bit of a small issue. And he couldn't close his arms properly. And I'm sure you guys have experienced this before. Some GI Joes just had plastic flash inside of their joints, like this.
Hmm.
So this is me just showing you guys before I remove the flash. He now has a fully bending arm. He is on the mend. I I'm actually really sorry that I haven't got any cool pictures of this Viper. I really didn't take any, and I feel like such a klutz for not having done so. But this is an incredibly minty fresh Viper specimen. I can't believe how lucky I was to get this thing for like what, 250 rand? Like whatever. That's like
It's
nothing.
like nothing.
That's nothing. So I buy these, I pay for these on the group, and the seller asks me if I'd be interested in this other figure that he's got, and I'm like, oh, I'm totally interested. He actually started off with, how much would you be willing to pay for one of these? And I'm like, well, I put up an offer. And he's like, okay. And then I also like mentioned, listen, I really love this figure. It's a toy I've been hunting for. It would have a good home, and that's important to me because it's going to be played with. It's going to be enjoyed in my collection. It's not just going to be held in storage for resale later. And no judgment. It's just that's not how I roll. And he was like, okay, cool. He'll think about it. So I'm like, in the meantime, would you mind sending me pictures? Because, that might change my offer, depending on the condition. And can you guys guess who that figure is?
Oh,
Rob?
goodness.
Members of the live audience?
Is it another Storm Shadow?
No, no, no.
Is it
No, no.
Outback?
Oh, getting warmer.
Oh. So it's Tiger Force.
Should I? Yeah, I was going to say, let me put you out of your misery. It is indeed this badass. And this is a Christmas miracle, guys. Literally, this happened the day before Christmas Eve.
Tiger Force Outback. Oh.
He put this message up the day before Christmas Eve. And he was like, I'll think about it. Not the day before the day before Christmas Eve. So, yeah, like, and wow. Like, literally, the only thing wrong with this is that it's missing the strap. It's got everything: the torch, the gun, the crotch, the backpack, the webbing. It's amazing. I finally have.
Insane.
Dude, I was shaking when I went to go and collect this figure. Okay, shaking, absolutely shaking. I was, I wasn't that aware of how much I was shaking, but when he gave me the little box that he was carrying my figures in, my hands were shaking. I could feel it, and he could see it, and he commented, and it was quite sweet. This is, wow, huge cap in my collection. Big thing in my collection for me. Yeah, wow. Also great, now I can troll Steven with it. So,
You have the only crotched Outback in the GI Joburg collection, as well.
correct. And to be fair, he doesn't come without his issues. He had one small little problem. Now this toy, okay, it's worth mentioning. This Tiger Force Outback was, I believe, in a packaging and bought by someone, and either it was kept in packaging for very long, and something either happened to the packaging and it was opened up, or somebody bought this, but this was brand new for a long time. Okay, so much so that you couldn't bend the knees. Okay, it was hectic. Like, and it being Tiger Force Outback, I wasn't going to try and force the knees. It's just you could barely bend the knees. So this, of course, this bugged me a little bit. And so when I got home, and also I suppose I should get into. So I'll tell you what happened there just after I tell you this. So this guy was gonna ship it to me, and thankfully he's close. He's in Joburg, and so thankfully he didn't. I just felt it would be stupid for him to ship it to me. I could go and fetch it from him. We actually arranged to go and meet it, and so we had to drive all the way to Centurion, which is quite a long drive. It's about 20 or so kilometers from home, maybe more. I think it's actually 40 kilometers, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, it's quite a long drive. Celia and I went on a road trip. And yeah, so not only did thankfully, I didn't have to have any like sort of package anxiety. I could just go and fetch the toy, which was cool. But yeah, upon getting home after this very long road trip, because this very long road trip then extended to Celia and I having a like sort of a breakfast, and then we went and did last bits of Christmas shopping for our folks and stuff, and then only did I get home that I could actually play with my new toy. And so yes, I did fix his knees. Long story short, but it required a little bit of surgery, and it was quite scary. So the one leg was completely fine. I could take it off and wiggle it off nicely. No issues there. Easy peasy. Just gave it a little bit, reamed the hole a little bit there for the knee joint, and the leg bends nicely. No issues. It's not floppy ninja kicking legs. The other leg, however, and I've never experienced this in my life ever. It was almost like it was glued. Okay, that's how fused it was. It was almost like it was glued. I had used every single trick in the book that I knew to get this thing loose. I used hot water, which is what I always do. I then I gently tried to persuade that knee joint out of that socket. I tried that. I tried using like a small vice grip just to, slowly like try to create a pinch there to get it out. No, that didn't work. Nothing. Eventually what I had to do, this is going to shock you guys, I had to break the peg in the knee. I had to literally clip it off. Then I had to drill a hole through it. So now I've got this outback who's now essentially got like a broken knee. He's like completely non-mint now. I know, it's freaking me out. And I drilled a little hole through there, and then I drilled two catching holes drilled a catching hole on the other side, and used a piece of model kit plastic, no glue required. Slotted it through the hole for the leg, slotted it into the upper thigh. Boom, he's got two legs. He can run again. Everything's golden. My outback is still cool. So yay. So there he is, and now he can walk like a real
That's
Tiger Force
wild.
outback. Super cool, eh? I'm so glad I got this. So now all we need to do is find one for you, Robbie.
Heck
And
yeah.
heck yeah.
And then we'll
So-
all have one. I think that's a good plan. 2022.
Yeah, Tiger Force Outback for you. And while I was in Centurion picking up this figure, sorry, I know that this is a long one. I'm actually sad Stephen isn't here. It would have been cool to hear his picks as well. But I'm sure he's going to share all of that cool stuff. And he shared a really awesome video about it. So this gentleman that I met, very, very nice guy, he's like, asked me if I collect anything else, and Celia and I are like, oh, a little bit of Hot Wheels, and I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of digging the Motu Origins thing. He's like, oh, this Checkers has actually got a lot of He-Man stuff. So I'm like, oh, okay. So Celia and I go off to the Checkers, and we're looking around, and we then spot a few really nice Hot Wheels, which is really cool. And thanks to the Hot Wheels, we found this. Ba-boom. Flying Fist He-Man, which is now apparently all over Cape Town, Rob, just so you know. Finally got a Flying Fist He-Man, so that's joy. No Terraclaw Skeletor though, but this guy was like hiding, and I only saw it because I was looking for Hot Wheels, and then I thought, okay, I'll go and look at the Motu stuff again, and they didn't have anything special. Then I went back to the Hot Wheels, then I went back to the Motu, and for some reason Celia spotted this, and then boom, we got it. Yay! So, yeah. So Flying Fist He-Man is mine, and guys, and that is my Christmas. And of course, I got Rob and Steven in the tree because I miss you, you funky monsters. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, thankfully we're represented by figures, so it makes it much easier to kind of like have us around.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it was like, this is how I kept you guys close to me, near and dear. So yeah, anyway, that's enough of what did you get?
We certainly got a lot of stuff, but I mean, we also gave a lot this year. I mean, if you consider episodes giving, I think I do. We somehow managed 46 episodes this year. I mean, isn't
Right?
that insane? This will be the 46th, I think. So we started the year on episode 184, discussing classified snake eyes, and we ended the year with our Christmas special. And between all of that, a lot of people, I mean, we ourselves made some cool things for the channel, but tons of other videos for the channel. I think it's been a pretty big year, 2021, for the channel. There've been
really
a
has been.
lot of really cool videos that came out.
We've got we have a new play motion out, or we had I think it's 1 or 2 new play motions out, because there was a collaboration with Troy, and
Yes.
then there was the Renegades that had come out. Then there was the Sergeant Slaughterhouse stuff that's come out. That's not through us, but you know, we at least got to contribute some voices to it at times. Oh, it's been a crazy year, actually. It's been really incredible.
And so many new things coming out. I mean, this is the year that obviously what's it called again? The Red TIE Fighter.
Oh yes, dude, Roboskull, man. The
Roboskull came
happened.
out, was fully funded. The Sky Striker somehow, you know,
that was funded.
in the last couple of hours it happened.
Rancor wasn't.
Rancor wasn't, unfortunately.
I'm sure many guys if they, while listening to this, I'm sure they either have received their Action Force figures from Valaverse, or are expecting their Action Force figures to arrive very soon, because that's gone off this year as well, and to quite a high degree of success. A lot of guys are very happy with their new Action Force stuff, based on what I've seen on the internet everywhere. I know Bart's been digging the hell out of his Action Force stuff, as has Ryan. So, yeah, it's been pretty incredible from that side. Gary V, he started his podcast, which has been pretty cool. The
Yes.
Chaplin's Motorpod. So that's also happened. That's not us, obviously, but it's just worth mentioning that's happened. That went down. Matthew Comstock started his blog after getting his figures back from his childhood home's attic. HCC disappeared and then came back. You know, that happened.
That's that's so true.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm getting lost in looking at all of our videos.
Rob, if you don't mind me asking, how did you spend Christmas, man?
So my Christmas I spent with it's basically, yeah. So it was myself, my sister, my mother, and my grandmother, and we go to my mother's place in the northern suburbs of Cape Town, and yeah, so we spent the afternoon there. Thankfully, there was a breeze or a bit of a wind going, because otherwise it was very hot yesterday in Cape Town.
Wow.
Like, I don't know, like 27, 28 or something like that. It just makes it like, ugh. So we never have white Christmases in South Africa, unfortunately. There's no snow, there's no cold. It's all, you know, in our imagination.
We should get you up for Christmas in Joburg, dude. We've had a bit of a rainy one, actually.
Oh,
which has been
really?
quite
Oh,
good.
I'd
Yeah.
love to have a Christmas in Joburg. I mean, as long as it's a bit cooler, I can at least, you know, be a bit closer to the childhood, you know, kind of like imagining of having snow, or at least having a cooler Christmas where I can actually wear like pants on Christmas Day.
Dude, I can't believe I forgot about the Storm Shadow The Origins came out.
Yes,
Darren
that's true.
Oh god, we're gonna talk movies just now. It's gonna happen.
Yes, no, for sure.
Because
So we had a great lunch, a Christmas lunch. We undid all our gifts. I think probably my gift, well, the countdown was the coolest gift that anyone received that day. I got my sister a manga,
cool.
a
Which one?
Junji Ito, a dissolving
Ito.
classroom.
Oh, cool. Yeah, Junji Ito is awesome. He does all that creepy, horror, grossy stuff.
Yeah, and she absolutely loves this stuff. So I think this is
that's so
probably
great.
the third one I've gotten her so far. Yeah, she's very much into horror. And Yeah, my mom got me cigarettes. I got her cigarettes. My grandmother got a bunch of biscuits and chocolates and stuff because I think, you know, I think eventually that's kind of all you do get. Kind of like older people is like stuff to eat essentially.
Yeah, exactly right.
Like treats that that they really enjoy.
I,
And
I, my dad's
yeah,
been loving books, so yeah, so
oh, that's cool. So you
yeah,
gave him some books this year.
yeah. I was hoping I could find an Afrikaans version of Dune. I would love to have gotten him an
Ooh.
Afrikaans Dune, but sadly
I
not,
wonder if they
not this
ever
time.
translated it because I mean it must have been translated into dozens of languages.
Exactly right, but Afrikaans doesn't seem to be one of them. I've actually done a bit of a search, so
Huh.
yeah.
Would he have been able to read a Dutch version of it? Do you
I
think?
don't think I don't think so. I don't think he'd be able to read it comfortably. I think he would totally understand it. And my dad
Mm.
did do Dutch in school, and he did German in
Okay.
school as well, so I'm sure he could. Um, but yeah, so
Wouldn't be an easy read.
an easy read. um, yeah, man, that sounds cool. That sounds, awesome. And the thing is, like, there are a lot of guys who obviously couldn't be with their families, this year for Christmas. So, you know, it may sound like kind of boring, just to say, oh yeah, I was with my family and whatever, somebody like did this. But there are a lot of people in the world right now who can't quite do that. And so I'm
Yeah, for
glad that you're
sure.
one
I
of the people
mean,
that could, and that
yeah,
I'm
I'm
one of the
very
people that could.
grateful. Yeah, that we were
Yeah.
both able to kind of spend time with our families. I mean, for sure, there's dozens, I mean, hundreds, thousands of people who can't be with their families. And I hope that even though they were apart, they were, you're still able to have a good Christmas because it
Totally.
definitely is. It's that time of year where you kind of just have to just enjoy yourself and have a good time and be grateful for what you have. And thankfully, GI Joburg, all three of us, we thanks to everyone, we have a lot more than um, we've ever had before. And I'm not just talking about like toys and physical stuff. I mean, just I think a better outlook. It's definitely helped to kind of make it through another year of this pandemic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Looking forward to kind of like chatting and talking about GI Joe and just taking our minds off, the everyday and kind of like transporting ourselves into
Yeah.
the extraordinary.
I get excited for the weekend because I'm like, hey, cool, get to speak to you guys, which is always a highlight for me. And we get to, make our jokes, and it's cool.
Mhm.
So, we've got some stuff from Postbox the Pit that we want to read, but before that, Rob has watched a few things, and yeah, guys, just yeah, he's got opinions. so, um, so here's the thing. So, Rob, what are you watching? What are you playing? What are you wearing? I mean, what are you reading?
Well, I'm wearing a t-shirt with a shirt over that with a pair of shorts. Um, I have not been reading much this week. I did start Witcher season 2. It's so far pretty good. I really enjoyed the experience overall. I'm on episode 6 or 7 now, I think. So I'm coming around to the end. It's a really good show overall, I think.
Hmm.
It's interesting because apparently fans complained that the first season was a little confusing because there two stories happening at two different times in Geralt's life, and I think they obviously didn't make that clear enough, so they confused a lot of people. Where they thought, "Oh, but I thought he was over here." No, he's over there. So for the people that had their complaint, the second season is a lot more straightforward. There's one story, you just follow it along. But then I also read news recently that apparently the second season is too simple compared to the first season. So I
Well,
guess
yeah,
there's no pleasing everyone in the end,
yeah. As
or
fans, we're
anyone.
such difficult people. I swear.
It's
Um,
true though, it's like
mm,
we want very specific things, and then when the people making the shows hear these opinions, they go, "Okay, cool, we'll take that on board." And then when they do that, another group of fans are like, "No, actually, could you not have done that? This
yeah,
doesn't work for me."
exactly,
So
exactly.
I think
Yeah,
fandoms are very difficult to kind of get through that minefield.
On the topic of The Witcher, it's been quite interesting to see Celia's reaction to it because she's not a gamer, so she has no experience with The Witcher as a gamer. She's never read the books or didn't even know that the books existed. I had been sort of going on about the series and like, hey, you should check it out. I think you might enjoy it. The main character is really awesome, and I think you would enjoy it. And she's watched like one or two, and she really has been enjoying it. But it is a show that you have to sit down and watch, and so she's sort of been doing that. But then she got a bit of a Orange is the New Black kind of binge, taste in
Oh,
her.
interesting. Yeah, I think that is a
Yeah,
show you can kind of just like plow through, essentially. I mean, it does keep you hooked.
exactly right. And so yeah, so I've been like sort of trying to get Celia to finish watching the damn Witcher, the first season, so her and I can watch the second one together. So I've been holding off on watching the second season. Um, yeah, man, it looks cool. I'm just glad that there's something exciting on Netflix for me to watch right now. And hopefully I get to check it out before Cobra Kai comes out because I'm really excited about Cobra Kai.
That's
Um,
season
four,
4.
yeah.
I
So,
need to catch up. I'm still on season 1. I don't think it
dude,
hooked me as quickly as it should have.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
the concept is awesome. Everyone tells me it's really good. Um, I think I should just get back into it because what I've watched so far is really good.
Yeah, I've really loved it. I'm not gonna lie. I think Cobra Kai has been one of those really awesome TV series that comes out that I get really fired up about, and surprisingly so, because it has got some silly moments. But I suppose I dig it for that. But what if? So you've been checking. So you've checked out The Witcher.
So
Very
I checked
cool.
out The Witcher. That was probably the best thing I watched this week. Unfortunately, I did catch. So a new movie's come out in the cinemas. Apparently, it's on HBO Max as well. I don't know if that means it translates to be on whatever our Max version is here. What's it called?
Oh, Showmax. Oh, actually, I
Showmax.
don't know. I wonder if it is on Showmax.
I'm
Yeah.
not sure. That's the thing, because I mean, I think Showmax is the South African kind of branch of HBO Max, as it were, or it is
It is kind of,
associated with
yeah.
it.
It is
So they
kind
have
of.
certain shows that obviously only HBO has. Um, so I decided to go and check it out. My expectations were fairly high because the trailers were really good for this movie. I thought it looked like it had some cool ideas coming out of it, and would be cool to see these characters on the big screen again. So the movie I'm talking about, which turned out to be a complete disappointment, is
Spoiler alert.
Matrix. Matrix Resurrections. I went in expecting, I suppose, like how do you set up the fact that these characters are back? I mean, at the end of the third film, basically, that was it. That's the end of the story, and somehow they get them back, and the explanation is really silly. But yeah, overall, it's just a garbage movie. Actually, it has no reason to exist. Like, it's not pushing forward any interesting visuals. There
Mhm.
isn't any innovative fights. Like, it's not like they had ideas for new ways of kind of like doing amazing battles within the Matrix.
Mm.
That doesn't happen. It feels like a very generic action movie that happens to have the kind of a couple of like really cool things going on. Basically, Neo constantly blocking things with like a shield. That's like his new power for resurrections. He can block things. He could do it before, but that's like his only extra power this time, is he can block everything and
Suppose it's
do
worth
like
mentioning that, like,
shockwaves.
spoiler alert, if you haven't seen The
Oh no,
Matrix.
no, for sure.
Yeah.
Um, but then again, I mean, I really don't care if I spoil this because it's not good at all. There's some really cool concepts, but within the film, they have moved forward, so you kind of get some sort of resolution to things that happened at the end of Revolutions, and you
Hmm.
get some idea of like what the new way, or what the new way of life is for people post resurrections and post the war between because obviously at the time they're brokered a peace between the robots and the humans, and like what happened to that. And it's kind of cool to kind of see that stuff, but at the same time it's not enough to kind of make the movie good. You need a good story around incredible concepts or incredible emotional moments, because there are a few. I definitely did cry in at least one scene, but
Well, that's good.
it's an emotional movie. I think there's a lot of emotion in it, but at times at least. But yeah, overall, not the best experience, I think, and it doesn't need to exist actually.
Wow.
I really don't think it does. But I mean, also I think it's a big excuse because so after the Matrix finished a couple of years ago, they did a TV series called Sense8, and I watched the first season. That was very good. With
Sense8
Wachowski
was
siblings, they created this really cool, interesting series. I still need to watch season 2. But the interesting thing is that actually, basically, the entire cast of that TV series is in this movie, and maybe not in every single big role, but in most of the big roles. So to me, at least, it kind of felt like, these guys aren't getting work anywhere else, so let me make a movie so they can have work, essentially. So it's like there's a lot more reasons to make this than to actually go, cool, I have an idea to expand the Matrix universe further. It feels more like there's personal reasons and like financial reasons why they would make another movie. I mean, I'm trying not to discuss it too much, and there's the entire end sequence of the movie is just I laughed out loud when they started doing certain things. It was just I can't even actually. But if you do watch it, let us know. And yeah, Paul, are you gonna watch it?
I want to watch it. I have this so guys, Rob is being very diplomatic on the podcast. The voice notes that Stephen and I received on our WhatsApp group with reference to this film and Rob's experience of it has actually been more beneficial to me watching this film than detrimental, because Rob, to say you are not impressed is kind of an understatement, and it's got me so curious. I'm morbidly curious to go and check out this film now. I'm like, oh, I want to watch this because of everything that you kind of have mentioned. And so I am going to check it out. I don't know if I'm going to pay full price of admission for it. I might go and watch it on like a cheap-ass Tuesday or something.
Or like in 2D or something. There must be
I'm totally going to watch it in 2D.
Cinema where you can just see it in 2D. You pay the bare minimum price.
Rand is, 150 Rand is too much to pay for a headache. So yeah, I'm not going to do it in 3D. That said, like, I still want to watch the new Spider-Man. Steven's checked that out. He's got some thoughts and whatever's on it. I know the internet has exploded with that. Everybody's like, it's so amazing. I have heard opinions that are contrary to that. So I'm also very keen to check out Spider-Man.
Yes, I would definitely check that out before Matrix Resurrections.
Yeah, I think that's the plan. And then Rob, when you posted all of your stuff on WhatsApp, another friend of mine, he was also posting all over Instagram about how amazing and deep the Matrix is. And I was just laughing at the
about as deep as a puddle.
At the contrast between the two opinions. So yeah, I am curious. But before we move on to some postcards to pit, a little bit of let's call it a quick fire topic, or let's give this episode a little bit of a GI Joe topic. It's not just rounding off. Rob, what are the things that you're excited to see happen with GI Joe in 2022?
Ooh, well, I think probably one of the biggest things is, he hasn't really released yet, has he? Spirit or Classified?
No, he hasn't yet. So those are all coming out next year. Yeah,
there you go. 2022 Classified Spirit. I mean, if he's really good, he might actually be my into Classified. But having said that, and obviously at some point they're eventually going to start doing the vintage line. So I'm looking forward to them releasing more news on the vintage line. I mean, that's not coming next year, right? I mean, 2023 is when the Sky Striker gets sent out. Is that correct?
Yeah, who knows? I mean, I think the Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes O-Ring vintage collections are destined for 2022, if memory serves, or if my information is correct. um, so there's that happening. I suppose one could maybe argue that Hasbro might start getting the ball rolling on
I
those
like to
O-Ring
think
figures.
so. I'm
Yeah.
I'm very hopeful that we get a lot more news related to the vintage line next year, so we have some idea of what they want to do with it and what they're going to be doing going forward, and
Yeah.
and hopefully more classified releases. Um, it's definitely gaining a lot of steam. It's they're doing amazing stuff for the classified line, and I think 2022 could be really big for GI Joburg and GI Joe in general.
Dude, I think the classified Bat and classified Alley Viper have done wonders for Hasbro this year already.
Mm.
I know that at first they were spotted in retail stores, and now they're like kind of like everywhere. I'm seeing guys posting quite a few. Like guys are really troop holding them, as I imagine they would. And I hope Hasbro has had the foresight to realize that this is a troop building figure, and so that they have gone out of their way to make more of these than normal. That would be great. Another thing I'm very excited for with that is, well, my pre-orders, because I've pre-ordered a Bat and an Alley Viper. In fact, I have pre-ordered an extra Alley Viper
Oh.
as a giveaway. Yeah, so I haven't got a plan for how that's going to work. I just thought I'd put it out there. I did pre-order one early because I wasn't sure how to get, and I'm sure everybody's going to be happy with getting an extra Alley Viper or an extra Bat in their collection. So I'll figure out a way to make that a thing. But yeah, so there's an Alley Viper that's going to be given away by GI Joburg sometime next year when BBTS actually, gets them in stock. I know some guys have been receiving from BBTS. Clearly, I didn't click the button fast enough, so I must be like number 100 in the queue or something. But that's cool. So that's exciting. But yeah, I'm also looking forward to more classified news from Hasbro. I'm actually hoping for a more confident GI Joe centric Hasbro. I know that's a lot to ask for, but I think they can be because the classified line is doing well. The HasLab Sky Striker, oh god, we said it again. That's happening. So I'm expecting and hoping that next year is going to be kind of full of GI Joe. Like we're going to see a lot of crazy stuff. I think we're going to see a lot of. I think we're going to see some of the O-ring vintage figures sort of announced at a toy show. These are just predictions, of course, predictions and hopes. I've got a feeling we're going to see some of that. I've got a feeling we're going to see a bit of an uptake on the classified in terms of more sort of unique characters, or should I say braver choices, more courageous character choices. Not that I have a problem with the original classified Duke, but I think the fan base would be happier with a better Duke. So hopefully that happens. Yeah, I mean, these are just some of the things. I'm curious to see what they do with the comic. I truly hope Kirkman's imprint gets the GI Joe comic. I think, I think that would be cool. Chasing 80s Toys here says, hope they release the mini playsets at some point. Checkpoint Alpha, Cobra Bunker. Dude, I would love to see that. I think that kind of thing is very important. I've said it here on the show before. The Cobra Troopers, the Cobra Vipers, and now the Alley Vipers and the Bats definitely enhance the classified line, not just because they're cool toys, but also because it's something for your Joes to shoot at and to kill. It's really interesting. You've got a line that's got two groups of like sort of signature characters. You got all the Cobra like big guys, and you got all the GI Joe. Well, not all the big GI Joe big guys, but you got some big guys from GI Joe. And your imagination's your own limitation, but I'm pretty sure a lot of us are wired in the sense that it's difficult for us to like really just have a GI Joe like take down Cobra Commander just willy nilly. You know what I mean? And so it's cool to like have Cobra Troopers in the mix and army builders in the mix to take out. And I feel like those miniature sets, they definitely add to that kind of feeling. So if they did something like that for Classified, that would be cool. Um, if they did it for the O-Ring retro re-releases, that would be cool as well. I also am hoping for a Cobra Claw from Classified, a Trouble Bubble or Flight Pod. That would be really cool, seeing as we've received a RAM. And Hasbro, if you're listening, please could we have a stalker, a Classified stalker? Just give him to us with like shorter hair. I mean, I like the dreads, but like you're gonna step on a landmine with that. So just keep his hair short. We would like a really cool stalker figure, please. That would be really awesome. Thank you, Hasbro. Yeah, man. Uh, so that's some of the stuff that I'm hopeful for. I really hope that GI Joe RPG picks up nicely. I'm looking forward to us doing some podcast episodes with that in hand.
Yeah, I think so. We should definitely. I mean, I think definitely the addition of like sets would actually make the Classified line a lot more amazing. We need more stuff than just figures.
And
I
that's
do agree.
yeah, and that's a big thing. That's a big thing like out there at the moment. There's a lot of guys that are doing some great diorama stuff. Uh, even just stuff out of cardboard has been quite successful with the toy photography crowd. So that'd be great. Darren's like the Coastal Defender. No, just no. What's wrong with you? No. Classified Vampire Stinger. I think that's very likely and very possible, actually. Just nervous about how that would scale out. So Darren Cobb suggested a classified vamp slash stinger. Yeah, cool. I think it's a cool idea. I think it is possible. Definitely, if Star Wars has managed to get away with what it has, then I think a classified vampire stinger is possible with what I said earlier. The proportions. Let's hope they get that right. Yeah, man. So, and then of course, I would love for us to be able to, I don't know, travel. That would be cool, so that we can maybe make it to a Joe Fest or something. That would be ultimate.
That well, it's not 2032 yet, but I think 2022 maybe things will hopefully get a bit better. And
Totally.
if the trend towards more more infectious yet less
Severe.
deadly versions, severe
Yeah.
versions of the COVID virus continues, then it could become just like the flu essentially. Um,
Yeah.
every year there's a shot maybe, or people choose not to get the flu shot because it's just mild. It's mild symptoms. Then I think, yeah, I think the sooner rather than later things will get much better. I'd definitely want things to get better
And
sooner.
another
Make it next year.
And another thing I'm looking forward to seeing next year from GI Joe, not necessarily from Hasbro, but I'm looking forward to seeing what the community does, what the GI Joe collecting community does, or should I say the 3 3/4 inch and now 6 inch scale collectors do, because I mean we've seen some amazing products come out. There is a company that does these weapons for the Action Force. I mean, not for Action Force, for GI Joe Classified. And I can't believe I just blanked on the name. Ryan is the reason I know that they exist. So yeah, I've been checking out a lot of that awesome stuff. I hope we see more cool weapons and gear and props and hey, whatever's like surprises. I mean, 2021 was surprising in itself that we got Airwolf coming out, the Roboskull happened. So yeah, here's looking forward to 2022 with all of that madness. Um, and now, yeah, Rob, is there anything else you want to mention, or can I take us through to postcards from the pit?
I think definitely let's hit the pit. I think, yeah, give us more GI Joe. That's what we want
Cool.
from 2022, and the opportunity to see the people that we met a couple of years ago and a couple more you too. That's what I want.
Cool.
Let's do it.
So, so Steve actually sent us a whole bunch of stuff. Well, he sent it to us. I mean, it's a whole bunch of stuff that we get in our a real South African hero at gmail.com. So, guys, if you want to get in touch with us and you don't want to send us a comment on our videos and you want to just reach out and touch us, let that sink in for a second. You can get hold of us on arealsouthafricanhero@gmail.com, like so many others have. And you can shoot us an email. And bear in mind that your stuff will be read out. So if it gets to us, we will read it out. And if we don't read it out, we will get back to it in some form or another. We do sort of have some kind of a system. So, this message comes to us from Gabriel Wilkinson. Merry Burgmas, lads. Merry Burgmas to you too, Gabriel. The topic has already been discussed at length and will provide plenty of speculation, wishing and dreaming while we await whatever O-ring goodness Hasbro has in store for us. So, so here we go. This is great. This is on the topic of what we want. So here's a largely comic book centric wish list. Here we go. Gabriel thinks that it would be cool if we got a hard master, soft master, and blind master. Definitely. I can't believe none of us have actually mentioned that already. Bully would be cool. Dr. Venom, definitely. Quinn in jungle gear. Yeah, actually. That would be cool. Scarface
we've had him in the like winter gear, but I think
jungle it's gear weird because cool. He's still wearing like shorts,
wasn't it?
Yeah,
he's still wearing shorts, but I mean, I think specifically jungle gear version would be awesome.
Yeah, well, especially in like an O-ring kind of feel. You know, we haven't really gotten that in an O-ring. I mean, modern era, yeah, but Scarface with removable helmet. Yeah, definitely. I feel like Scarface is kind of a missed opportunity. As an O-ring, I think that should definitely happen. I think somebody mentioned this in the last time we did this. Professor Apple or Appel, then Apple, Candy or Bogo in bear suit with removable bear head. Totally. White Clown, yes. This is actually such a cool storyline in the comic book. That whole Snake Eyes kind of with under the sort of influence of the Arashikage mindset. That goes down with that whole thing. Yeah, White Clown was cool, man. Bit of a creepy looking character, but love the whole setup there. An unmasked Jinx, yes. Why should only modern era get an unmasked Jinx? Why can't we have one? Shooter, definitely. And Bomb Strike, very nice. And he says, here's one that's a bit out there, an O-ring version of Deep Six in his dive suit. Hear me out. It could be done. They made Edmund Honda for the Street Fighter line back in the day, so Hasbro has proven they can do figures with standard articulation and much larger appendages. The bubble helmet has been done many times. Ace, Payload, Sector Viper, Deep Six version 2, sort of, Hawk version 3 and other users of the mold, Armor Tech, Destro, and of course all the unique tooling and wider T-hook would be cost restrictive, but one can dream. I agree with you there. I think we could actually get a Deep Six in diving suit as an O-ring figure. My question is, and Rob, let's see what your feelings are. Maybe, like, don't you think they should do this more like, well, I feel they should do this more like how they did the snake armor for Deep Six's dive suit, personally. Like, I like that as an idea.
That would work a lot better, I think. Because, I mean, there's articulation in the snake suit, but not too much. And because, I mean, dive suits, I mean, you're not meant to be able to move a lot. But, I mean, you could kind of replicate what they did in the Space Force, you know? Where you could kind of make something similar to that. The Space...
Star Brigade.
Star Brigade.
Star Brigade armored Marines or whatever.
Yeah, you could do something like that. You could kind of borrow from there and kind of create something new. But I think Deep Six in a diving suit would be really cool. I mean, they did a version, but I mean, it felt more like cloth or like a normal figure. Because I have like the Indian version, I think, somewhere. I mean, the play school, the fun school version. But that was like too thin. It was like, it didn't feel like an actual diving suit. So I think there's room that you could actually make something really cool like that in the line.
Sweet. Which brings us to New O-ring ideas from Samuel Smith. How's it, Samuel? Here are a few ideas to think about. 1. Stalker. I just finished watching HCC 788's review of the 82-83 Stalker. HCC mentions that the OG 13 sculpting and painting don't compare well to the sculpting and paint of later GI Joe releases. I agree with that. There is a charm to them, but there were significant strides made between 83 and 85, even 84. Stalker is such an amazing character. I enjoy his V1 figure, but I have to agree that objectively, the figure could be better. If I were pitching ideas to Hasbro, I would suggest they redo the sculpting of V1 Stalker so he looks more in line quality wise with 85 Footloose or 87 Falcon. Definitely. He would suggest they redo the sculpting of V1 Stalker. I agree with that. I think Stalker is one of my favorite characters. Like, I love the character. It hasn't always been my favorite toy, in all honesty. At least the version 1 of Stalker. Version 2, I think, is an amazing toy, Arctic Stalker. And the Talking Battle Commander Stalker is also really rad. But, I do feel like he needs to be shown a little bit of respect by being given a stronger face sculpt, for sure. What say you, Rob? Do you think is that a toy you would like to see them do properly as a O-ring re-release? And do you agree with him? I mean, maybe you're like, no, man, 82-83 Stalker was the tip.
He was perfect. I love how simple he is. Simple looking he is. No, I think a better version would be fantastic. I mean, you mentioned getting him in the classified line. I think having an updated version of him in a new vintage line would be really cool. Because he is really straightforward. I mean, a lot of those characters have gotten better versions later on, and I think, kind of mirroring, doing something cooler with him, adding more detail in there would be fantastic. I mean, Samuel does go on to say that Hasbro did revisit some of the weaker molds in the repaint comic pack era.
Yes.
And that included Stalker. But I mean, that Stalker sucked. Because apparently his head was too small. Maybe they'll get it right a third time. We'll see.
The next thing Samuel mentions is Beachhead. While on the subject of the repaint era, I have to give Hasbro credit for the new head sculpts they gave Firefly and Storm Shadow during that era. They look amazing and blend perfectly with those characters' V1 figures. Hasbro should consider doing the same thing to 86 Beachhead, who had a giant balloon head. Just remold that thing slightly smaller / better, and that figure would be perfect. Well, almost. Please give him somewhat buffer arms. He looks like a twig. Okay, this is where I'm a little at odds. I fully agree that Beachhead has a too big a head for his sculpt. But I love that toy. I think he's such a great figure. Honestly. I think the thing that scares me about that is how many of them you see with broken crotches. That's always freaked me out with that toy. I don't know. What do you say, Rob? Do you think that he would benefit from having a better head sculpt?
I think you could make his head a little bit smaller, especially if they really did. I mean, that Firefly from that repaint comic pack area is really good. I have that one, and it's a huge improvement, I think, on the figure overall. So I think you could make a smaller head for him, or maybe you could completely resculpt it and just make it look way more interesting. I think it'd be really cool.
Listen, I mean, it took them, in my opinion, a while to get him right on the modern era. It's like they checked a lot of the boxes in the modern era, or 25th anniversary, and they were like, yep, this is good, this is good, this is good, this is not so good. I couldn't stand the head sculpt on the modern era version. And they tried different things. And then they even gave us a non-balaclava version, which I thought was very ambitious and very clever of them to do. So that was interesting, to say the least. But it took them a while to get that right. So hopefully, and I think, Samuel, I think a lot of guys out there would agree with you. I think the body's perfect. Maybe just redo the head. I still stand by being able to switch the heads out. Give us a true vintage head as well as a redone head on some figures, especially if you know that there's been some controversy around that figure. But that's me.
Hmm?
um, Samuel says we obviously need a Sparks. Duh. Yeah, we do need a Sparks. One of the most spoken about episodes in the Sunbow line has a toy that was never released as a toy, has a character that was never released as a toy, which is always fun and interesting. So that's definitely a gap that needs to be filled there. No arguments whatsoever on that one. Rob, do you want to read the next one?
Yeah, I think this is the one that I found interesting. So he suggests doing a battle core bazooka. That figure has a good sculpt. He's wearing a boonie hat and tack vest. Repaint that figure in military colors and let's see how it looks. There weren't enough boonie hat Joes in the Ara era.
I agree with that. I agree. Oh, the repaint. I think yeah. I think because we've already got that version of Bazooka, and guys, if you're wondering, that's the he looks like he's going fishing. He's like wearing
Yes, basically. He's got like a
Yeah.
red shirt on and like greeny blue pants. It At a glance it doesn't look like Bazooka at all because we're so used to him wearing his number 14 shirt. It could really be almost any other character, really. I
exactly
think.
yeah.
But overall it's a pretty decent sculpt, and I think you could probably repaint him and make him into. Would you keep him as Bazooka or make him a different character?
No, I'd keep
don't
him as
know.
Bazooka. I'd keep him as
Yeah.
Bazooka. Yeah, like I have a thing where if they repaint original molds and rename the character, like that is something that disturbs and irritates me in the biggest way. I find it lazy. Coming back to a comment you made, Rob, I'd rather see like new molds for old characters or new molds for new characters than see them try to repaint an old character as a new character with the same mold.
Yeah.
I hate that. Yeah. And you also mentioned that like, Hasbro, they're not like some little small company. They can do the tooling, they can remold some of these things. So yeah, I would like to rather see give us Bazooka and give him some cool military tones as opposed to his retirement fishing gear. Even though I like that figure for some reason, I don't know what's wrong with me, but I dig it. But yeah, I think a military version of that would be cool. And then if you're gonna give us a new character, just give us a new sculpt, you know. And then 5, he says any Navy SEAL equipped for land missions.
Yeah,
this one
that's
speaks for
something we
itself.
sent. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's basically what we said, and I think a lot of people, other people said as well. Allow us to take them from the water onto the land, and then I suppose like strip them down so they can be wearing normal gear because Navy SEALs aren't always necessarily in the water.
Yeah, this is something where I think like if this was the 80s or 90s, Hasbro could have done like a 2-pack of like torpedo in land and sea gear, So we could have had like, they could have called them like the, wet. I suppose wet works would have been a bit too harsh. They could have called them like, like operators or SEAL operators or something like that, like some kind of set, and then they could have just had, versions of wetsuit, torpedo, and not deep six, wetsuit and torpedo, and possibly tracker, and then just give them each, like do a 2-pack where they've got their land gear or wet gear. That would be cool. Sorry, I just realized I sounded completely crazy when I said that, but yeah, that would be fun. Like, how many times did we get Batman toys that were like that, where it's like Batman, you got Bruce Wayne, and then you pop on a whole bunch of armor, and then he's Batman, and there was even that like cool Batmobile where you get a Bruce Wayne figure with it, and then you pop Batman in the car as well, and you press a button and it changes from a normal car to a Batmobile, and then inside it flips around, so it goes from Bruce Wayne to Batman. Like
I think I remember one of those.
Yeah, it's a very cool little like I always like sort of wondered about that toy. Like I always wanted it, and when I finally could go and get my hands on it, it was already sold out. But I've always loved that concept. Like give us both of the figures to play the same, to be in their different roles. I think that could be cool. But yeah, guys, that is from Sam. Sam, thank you very much for your comment and for your message. Really love some of these ideas. Actually, all of them, as you heard. And where's Profit? We have got your mail. We are excited, but we would like Steve to be here with us when we get through this.
We want to
So
go
thank you
full
very much.
force on it.
Yeah, so we can go full force. Somewhere, somewhere, Chris is like, I got a weird tingling feeling. But that's Joe Hunter 73. Thank you very much for this. We really want to get into this. However, he does have a small PS. Oh, and to Paul, on the how many Sky Strikers question, I have 3.5. I think it is. One original, one 30th anniversary, and one Silent Strike. So the half is the 30th anniversary. Well done. Very cool. At least that's how I get it. Very cool, man. Very, very cool. Yeah, listen, I've just recently, I brought my Night Raven, and this is something I would love to see HasLab. Okay? If HasLab does this, a re-release of the Night Raven, I will be over the moon, and I'll just be ripping things off the wall. I'll just be going nuts. And literally, it's like this vehicle in my eyes is pretty much perfection, but it's not really fair to call it perfection if I can put in a small change. The only change I would like to put into something like a Night Raven is just have fully closed landing gear. You know, the landing gear is so sexy, but it doesn't close all the way on the back wheel. So you still see a little bit of the back wheel exposed. It's a little bit naff.
Yeah, you could do something with that.
Yeah, that's a bit of an irritating thing. I don't love that. But that said, yeah, I have no other complaints. Just re-release that bad boy for O-rings, and I'll probably buy one because that is a beautiful toy and pretty much perfection. I suppose there are other small like sort of tweaks that they could do to it, you know, as they did with the HasLab Sky Striker, which are great. But yeah, this would be my release. Anyway, that said, I did bring mine home from my folks' place, and I gave it a nice little spit and polish. I used car dashboard cleaner, which is actually something I saw somebody else on a thread on a sort of GI Joe restorations or toy restoration thread use. I used a product. It's called Sheen. I'm pretty sure it's widely available. It is an international product. It's reasonably cheap. Just spritzed a bit of that, let it settle in there and get into the dirt, and then I just polished it nicely, and it's nice and shiny, and it's hanging on my wall. So when we do some streams and things, will see it hanging out in the background. So yeah, man, that is
Car dashboard cleaner.
Car dashboard cleaner. Yeah,
that is amazing.
It's really good.
Sometimes I wonder, like, how do people realize that they can use products on their toys? Like, are there like horror stories out there where someone was like, maybe I can use this to clean my toy, and then it just doesn't work at all. It like completely, you know, erodes the plastic, and the figure becomes this little zombie or something. We're only hearing the success stories, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like, I mean, admittedly, with the being in the model kit space of things, if you've ever built any of the Monogram or Revell cars, or maybe even Gundam kits that have chrome plating on them, you know that chrome plating on things like hubcaps and whatever is just, it's gaudy. At least in my opinion, it is. But also, I suppose this opinion is shared by many because there are lots of tips on how to remove that stuff. And in America, the best thing to use is something called Purple Power, which is apparently really, really great for removing chrome, stripping chrome off stuff, off plastic toys and whatnots. That said, we don't have Purple Power here in South Africa, so I've had to experiment with all kinds of stuff and look into all kinds of local model building forums and things. And one thing I found that's really great for like stripping chrome, for example, is oven cleaner. Mr. Muscle's oven cleaner. Yeah, it's actually very good, and it doesn't damage the plastic, surprisingly. But yeah, that's how people find this stuff out. They kind of have a need. It comes from like the sort of model building side of things or toy restoration side of things, and somebody tries a whole bunch of stuff on the toy that they think is, well, it's pretty much trash anyway, and I think that's how it goes down. But there are some horror stories out there, for sure. I mean, I've even had guys in Gundam forums using actual model products like polishes or putties and completely melting their kits because they overdid it, you know.
Ooh,
Yeah, no, it's scary stuff.
that's
So
wild.
that's yeah, so yeah, so
Well,
we get to enjoy the successes,
yeah,
you
we
know.
appreciate, all of the efforts people make, I suppose, to discover the things that actually work and help.
Totally. And guys, I mean, my Raven, like, wow, I was so scared to spray that stuff on, and eventually I was just like, ugh. You know, guys, just remember I'd recently done knee surgery on a Tiger Force Outback, okay? Uh, so I was feeling a little bit like, well, you know, I managed to get that right. Shame. Celia got quite a fright because as I'm like doing this, like, you know, when that little pig broke, I didn't want to do it
Mm.
initially, but it kind of broke it broke, just snapped. And I was just like, fuck. Sorry. But like I exclaimed. And she was like, she kind of reacted like, what happened? You know.
What's wrong? What's
Anyway,
going on?
what's going on? So yeah, man. I just want to just get into some of the comments here quickly before we go. Darren Cobb mentions here, if you have the white clown, you need to have Grulovsky and Magda as well. Yes, I agree. In fact, I think these would be great little subsets, and I really hope Hasbro has the guts to do them. Because the reaction line has done them. And on the topic of the reaction line, like, I'm not gonna go out and get myself that sleigh, but it's actually a pretty cool concept. Like, I know that Pablo Ocampo on our Facebook, he's received one. It's a very cool like idea, and I think well executed. I just lament the fact that it's not a proper, and I say proper, you know, like I'm some kind of like, you know, connoisseur, but like it's not like proper O-ring construction. That would have been, I would have totally have gotten it had it been a ring construction. But for what it is, I think it's great, and I want to put out a shout out to Adam Richards. I love the box art you did for that, man. It is so properly 80s. I just love it. And guys, I'm sorry I don't have it on screen at the moment, but it's just go and check it out. Just go and hit up the Reaction Christmas Sleigh or GI Joe Sleigh set, where the sort of blind guy is taking a very radioactive Snake Eyes to go and save his life. And this dude's got like a Mursa massive laser going on there, and it's very cool. Adam,
That was
if
the most unexpected thing when I
right?
saw that was released. I was just like, I don't know what to think.
uh, yeah, man, it's a thing. So yeah, so if this somehow gets to Adam, please tell him I think his artwork on that box is crazy cool. And yeah, guys, I think that brings us to the end of this episode or the close of this episode. Um, I hopefully Stephen will be feeling a lot better when we do our next one. By the time we do our next one,
Yeah, I think so
Magic
too.
8 Ball says probably. So
Probably,
yeah,
probably, maybe, and then yeah, we get to continue hearing about what GI Joburg got for Christmas next time.
yeah,
Yes, it's been a short one, but I mean it's Christmas. We want to pay with the things we got. We got family around. And yeah, I hope everyone has had a fantastic, festive season. I hope it continues to be good, and have a good New Year's. I hope 2022 can be even better than 2021 was.
yeah,
Yeah, hopefully next
definitely.
year onwards and upwards, guys.
We've been talking about our amazing Burg Force, and here they are. This is the Burg Force Patreon on a roll. Look at all of these sexy people. They make this channel interesting, and yeah, just make the hobby in general super great. And there's so many of them that we now have a second board, and we are now introducing Buttface69. And I gotta say, I love that name. What a cool handle, Buttface69. So welcome to the Burg Force, baby.
Very
Hope
mysterious.
we hope to see you here in future live streams. But you know, if you're shy and you don't want to do that, that's also cool. But with a name like Buttface69, I got a feeling we're gonna be seeing you soon. And yeah, so thank you to all of you sexy peeps. As always, guys, my merchandise, our GI Joburg merchandise is available on our Teespring. The links are in the description below. Well, that's where you'll find them. And if you want to join our Patreon, the link is also in the description below. And if you don't want to do any of that stuff, your like and your subscription and hitting the notification bell in any which order you prefer is actually just as great and really awesome too. So
Heck yeah. Tell us how
yeah,
cool
and as always, we love
how
hearing from
terrible
you.
we
So
are.
yeah,
Yeah, comment
Hit it-
below.
yeah,
Hit it.
hit us with comments below. Tell us how awesome Rob is. We love hearing about how great Rob is, and and tell him agree with him or disagree with him on the Matrix, and yeah, cool, sweet.
Tell us how much you prefer the podcasts to the scripted videos, or tell us how much you prefer, the fantastic stories we put out as opposed to the podcasts. Let us know either way. Just say something, say anything. So we know what you want from us in 2022, and we'll do our best to try and
Yeah.
oh my god, that's not a word. I'm obviously very hungry.
Yes, Rob needs to eat.
And yeah, hope everyone enjoys the rest of the Christmas. And that 2:30, we did it.
Sweet. Yeah. Woohoo! 2:30. Anyway. 2:30.
Heck yeah.
And till next time, yo. Joe. Burg, 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 Burg. Burg, 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 Burg. Burgy Burg, 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 Burgy Burg, 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 Burg. Joker ran away.
Burg. Enjoy.